Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So glad to see everybody here this morning. If you would rise as you are able, and we'll sing our joy song right there with enthusiasm. I celebrate joy. I celebrate joy within my soul. I celebrate joy. And knowing that God is in control. I celebrate joy. And knowing the Spirit sets me free. I celebrate joy and unity. Spirit is alive in me. I celebrate love. I celebrate love within my soul. I celebrate love. And knowing that God is in control. I celebrate love. And knowing that Spirit sets me free. I celebrate love and unity. The Spirit is alive in me. I celebrate hope. I celebrate hope within my soul. I celebrate hope. And knowing that God is in control. I celebrate hope. And knowing that Spirit sets me free. I celebrate hope and unity. The Spirit is alive in me. Spirit is alive in Good morning again. So I'll be the pulpit assistant today. And we just sang our wonderful joy song. We have Bob Brooks, who's going to be our reader. Our wonderful William Penn is with us this morning, of course, as well as our wonderful Rick. And our speaker will be Dr. Maurita. And so, Bob, come on down. Oh, I forgot. I'm doing this.
Good morning. There are two ways of spreading light. To be the candle or the mirror that reflects it. Light is energy that helps us see things and keeps us from darkness. Whenever we center ourselves in our Creator, in the energy of being, we see and think with more clarity, and we open our awareness to joy, peace, and love. As we do this, we start radiating light, the God within, to those around us. As this year progresses and we are continue to make adjustments to our lives, let us pause and reflect on how we can spread the light, the message of joy, peace, and love. The call to action is to be either the candle or the mirror that reflects the light. Every day we have the opportunity to share God with others. A simple act of kindness can displace darkness. Today we can be aware of this and make a decision to spread light in all directions. The affirmation is, today I respond to the call to action to spread the light. I am joyful and loving. I give peace to others.
Thank you, Bob. So, if you would please check your cell phones and put them in the meditation mode, vibration mode, or turn them off. I would appreciate that. I don't want any rock and roll music going on during the service. Although if it does, it's okay. It happens on occasion. Okay, so we are also, is there anybody here visiting for the first time? Matt? So this is Matthew, this is his first time visiting us, and also, have you been here before?
I've been here once before.
Okay.
Cheryl.
Carol?
Cheryl.
Cheryl, okay. So Becky, you want to give them a visitor's packet? This is just a little bit of information about the church. Hopefully you'll love us so much today you'll come back again. So our first hymn is Where Your Treasure Is, up on the wall. Stand when you are able and please join us and sing.
Just a quick review. We introduced this, go ahead and stand. We introduced this hymn late last fall. The verse goes like this. And the chorus.
Today, our Bible verse is from 2 Corinthians 3:5. Not that we are sufficient of ourselves to think anything as of ourselves, but our sufficiency is in God. And in Divine Science, its Principle and Practice, which is our textbook, it says, as we let the Christ enlighten the conscious levels of our being, we are renewed, inspired, and prospered by the divinity within us. When we begin to realize the principle of oneness, God the good is everywhere present. We're told to go forth and practice it in every phase of our lives. We soon learn that personal willpower alone can't help us. We have to depend on something so much greater. What a joy it is to know that the consciousness of Christ is right here within us, ready, willing, able to show us the way and help us on the path. As we depend on this light within, we are renewed and we are enlightened. We can do all things through Christ, which strengthens us, even as the Bible says. To admit to our Father that we are not sufficient of ourselves is to open the door to the sufficiency that God always supplies. Thy will be done is the answer. We know it, we feel it, and oh my, we give thanks for it. Beloved Father, Mother, God, thank you for the two-way flow of your perfect consciousness. I draw nigh to you and feel the inflow and the outflow of your true knowing. You are the love that builds a conscious knowing within me. Ideas that illumine my thoughts and feelings will fill me with a desire and help me to practice the presence of your good, which is right here, right now, and always. Shall we say our divine science statement of being together? You'll find it in your orders of service if you don't happen to know it. God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am the individualized expression of God, and am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's see how this hour that I lost affects my voice today. Birds flying high. You know how I feel. Sun in the sky. You know how I feel. Breeze looking by. You know how I feel. It's a new day. It's a new life. It's a new world for me. Feeling good. Stars in the sky. You know how I feel. Sun on the pie. You know how I feel. Green on the sky. You know how I feel. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life for me. Really good. Dragonflies all in the sun. You know what I mean. Butterflies all having fun. You know what I mean. And sleep at peace when day is done. That's what I mean. And this whole world is a new world and a bold world for me. Feeling good. I'm feeling good. Feeling good. off the floor. Mister, you can be a hero. You can open any door. There's nothing to it but to do it. You've got to have heart. Miles and miles and miles of heart. What's trying to get tickets, of course, but keep the old horse before the car. All you really need is heart. When your luck is bad and zero, get your chin up off the floor. Mister, you can be a hero. You can open any door. There's nothing to it. You can do it. You've got to have heart. All you really need is heart. What's trying to be a genius, of course, but keep the old horse before the car. First you've got to have heart.
Time for our healing prayer, meditation, getting still. It's a good time. Oh, a time to let everything go. Release, relax, take a deep breath. Allow the body to unwind. We need the body to get still before we can get the mind to get still. And as we're able to do that, then a new viewpoint comes into mind. A new way of looking at life that includes the presence of a force, a love, a power, a sense of uplift and freedom and joy. It begins to fill us and encourage us. Yeah, it's going to work out. It's going to be okay. This is not forever, whatever it is. This is just temporary. And as we put our consciousness, our minds, our awareness on the fact that we are never, ever alone, that we are forever connected with, part of, a presence of love, of all power, of all wisdom, knowledge, understanding, truth, and love. And all we have to do is ask. Ask with sincerity. Ask, not saying, yeah, but I know I haven't been good. I really haven't. I've made mistakes. No, God doesn't see that. We just have to turn inward after relaxing, letting go for a few moments. And lo and behold, just seeking, there is an answer. There are ideas perhaps that gently flow into mind. And even when there is no creative idea that comes to one, there is the knowledge that we have been heard, and we can lean on that ancient statement, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." I shall not want. We lean on that promise. We lean on that slender thread of faith. And all is well. Something unexpected happens. Someone comes into our life that casts light where there was darkness. Whatever. Always the presence of love, the presence of all knowledge, the presence of all good, the presence of God is right with us, within and without, ready to cooperate, eager, willing, desirous of helping. When we know this for ourselves, then it's so much easier to know it for other people, to know it for the people around us, the ones we love, the ones that are experiencing some challenge, difficulty physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, however. So we hold that truth for them. We hold them in the light of God. They don't have to know anything about it. It's between us and God, and subconsciously in them as well. We hold in mind the people in our larger circle of friends, extended family, those in our community here in Roanoke, those in our state, those who are in our country who suffer this day, who don't have that light to turn to, don't know about it, don't care about it, don't realize its effectiveness. And we take another deep breath and know that this same light that we are sending forth, the light of our own knowledge, our own faith, we send around the world. We send to every government on the face of the earth. We send to those who are in power, for they need this light more than anyone else. In all the places of travail that we hear about so regularly in our news, we send the light to them and ask for them and know for them solutions, greater freedom, promise, help, hope. And finally, last but not least, we think of our own prayer list, the people who have asked us for prayers. And we know that that light fills every single one. We are all connected. We are connected in God. And it matters not who or where they are. And we receive prayer requests from many, many different places. Right there. All good. Right there. Healing. Right there. Renewed energy. Right there. A feeling of safety. A knowledge that God stands between them and harm. Right there. Perfect solutions. Oh, Father, Mother, friend, companion, dearest, dearest one. We thank you. we thank you now and always for your presence, your help, your wisdom, your love. Shall we go within and continue this for the next 90 seconds, holding those we love in that light, those we know, and all the places on the face of the earth that we read about and are troubled about and are sad for, starting right now. Come unto me, all ye who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Rest is offered. Take it. Take that rest, and with it, release the burden. Let it go. Know that the light of God is right there, fully knowledgeable, fully powerful, fully helpful. Your highest good is unfolding through that omnipresent light. And for this, oh, dear God, we give deepest thanks. Amen. As we say this wonderful version of the Lord's Prayer, which is from out of the Aramaic and from the Nura Foundation. Our Father, who is everywhere, your name is sacred, your kingdom is come, your will is throughout the earth, even as it is throughout the universe. You give us our needful bread from day to day, and you forgive us our offenses, even as we forgive our offenders. And you let us not enter into materialism, but you separate us from error, because yours are the kingdom, the power, and the song and praise, from all ages, throughout all ages, sealed in faith, trust, and truth. Amen. Well, today I'm going to be talking about, and the second is like unto it. That probably jingles a little memory in the back of your head. It's right from the Bible, of course. In the New Testament, when a lawyer, that is, an expert in the Jewish law, asked Jesus, which was the greatest commandment of all? He was trying to trap him because there were hundreds, 700 some odd laws that they had to adhere to. Which was the greatest? And Jesus answered him without hesitation. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind. And then, of course, the other two of the synoptic gospels, that is, Matthew and Luke, add, and all thy strength. So, love the Lord with heart, soul, mind, and strength. They don't agree quite on that, but they all agree on the next part of that great law, that we must love our neighbor as ourselves. And who's our neighbor? Everybody. Everybody is our neighbor. Well, everybody in this congregation knows my interest in near-death experience. I've talked about it certainly. And over, everybody who's experienced it, if they've had any moments of depth within it, one of the transforming certainties that they bring back from it is the conviction that they were here. They walked the earth for a purpose, for a certain very important purpose, and that was serving and showing unconditional love. That is, being of service to other people and showing unconditional love to them. Now, that's a pretty tall order. And unfortunately, they weren't told exactly how to do this. This is something they had to find out. But there is a verse in 1 John that tells us how. Very, very adroitly. This verse says, and it's 3:18 in 1 John, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth. You can't just have lip service to this thing. You can't just think about it once in a while. We have to do it all the time. The super important subject has to be attended to. Love has to be demonstrated. Has to be part, gets to be part, a kind of consistent motivation that we start to do automatically. It just happens. We don't even think about it. We just do it. So we don't do it just for a little while and forget it, but it takes a powerful inner decision to do that. But that inner decision will change our lives forever in the most beneficial, the most dynamic way one can ever imagine. But love is a pretty big subject. So how do you define it? Well, a number of thousands of years ago, the Greeks went at it very carefully. They had 4 words for love. And we probably remember this from other things we've heard. Those 4 different words. The first one was eros, and that meant passionate love, sexual love, physical attraction to another person. And the second word was philos, or philia, which meant brotherly love, just that trusting friendship, warm relationship you have. Sometimes what we might have with an extended family, perhaps. Storge was the third word for love. And it referred to this kind of natural affection that one has for one's children, or one feels for the close members of one's family. But then there was a very, very special love, or rather word for love, and that was agape. You've heard that plenty of times before. It meant unconditional love. It meant something so much deeper than eros. It indicated a deep, dedicated love, perhaps for a spouse or a special friend or associate, partner, whatever. It also meant self-sacrificial love, where you put that other person and their needs before you put it before yourself, really. Their happiness, their safety, their well-being, that was more important than your own. Like the man or the woman who works 2 jobs, 3 jobs, in order to ensure that their family has a safe place, a roof over their head, and enough food to eat, and all the other necessities of life. That's self-sacrificial love, for sure. The New Testament, when it was written in Greek, always used that word, agape, throughout, especially in Paul's first letter to the Corinthians, Corinthians 1:13. Oh, that's that beautiful passage that Paul wrote about love, and he was talking about self-sacrificial, unconditional love in that beautiful passage, 1:13. Look it up sometime. But other people have defined love as well. Our founder, Melinda Kramer, spoke about love this way. Love, thought and acted, is God manifest on earth, is the wealth of the kingdom within made apparent on earth. So she's inviting us to let God manifest through us right here where we are on the earth. And Nona Brooks, Melinda's successor, who served all her life to teach these wonderful principles. She defined love as outstreaming goodwill to everyone. And I've often defined love as looking for and beholding the good in others. But, the more I thought about it as I was working on this, the more I realized that nobody should automatically accept somebody else's definition of love. Because it's terribly important, really, to get your own definition, which could be quite different from other people's. Everybody should sit down for a little while with a piece of paper and a pen and define love for themselves. What does that word mean to me? Maybe it's as simple and challenging as always being kind. That's what the Dalai Lama has said. Kindness is my religion. Beautiful words. And so apropos. But certainly, maybe love is just catching ourselves, stopping ourselves when we start judging somebody else. We have to know that we can only see a tiny part of a person. If we could see that whole person, past and present, we might, especially if there's negative behavior coming out of them, we might shed a tear for them. We might feel so compassionate toward them that it would fill us. We wouldn't judge, we couldn't judge, because we would know what they had gone through that created this moment for them, why they reacted. We could begin to see spiritually, which is what we should be doing. We should be able to see people as God's child. We could see them as my brother, my sister, because we are all connected. We are connected through God to each one, each and all. We are all connected. And no matter how bad their outer behavior, still they are worthy of respect, they are worthy of love, they are worthy of our looking through that surface and seeing the truth of them, the spiritual truth of them. One of the many additional wise quotes from the Dalai Lama is, "Love is the absence of judgment." There were some professionals who posed the question, what is love, to a group of 4 to 8-year-olds. And they came up with answers, these kids did, that were surprisingly deep. Kind of astonishing, really. An 8-year-old girl said, when my grandmother got arthritis, she couldn't bend over and paint her toenails anymore. So my grandfather does it for her all the time, even when his hands got arthritis too. That's love. Another child said, love is when mommy sees daddy smelly and sweaty and still says that he's handsomer than Robert Redford. another child said. You think when you tell somebody something bad about yourself and you're scared they won't love you anymore, but then you get surprised because they still love you, but even more. Finally, love is what's in the room with you at Christmas if you stop opening presents and listen. That was from a 5-year-old. Wisdom. Now, if these little kids can do that, certainly we could take a few minutes and sit down with that piece of paper and pen and write down our own definition of love. Maybe short and sweet, or longer and more comprehensive. Then make it an inner compass, always included in every decision, in every act. Make it part of our thinking, like a beautiful diamond that's in the midst of our minds that shines light in every direction, brings light to every interaction with somebody else and to ourselves. You know, even if we really haven't included very much love in our thinking and acting, you know, like they say, today's the first day of the rest of your life. Past is past. Start doing that now. I was recently reading about different kinds of love, expressed in different areas, different ways. And I wanted to share some of those little stories with you. One woman was grocery shopping with her 3-year-old, and her 3-year-old was nagging her. He wanted some gummy treat so bad. Oh, Mommy, Mommy. And she was explaining to her son that they couldn't afford it because Daddy lost his job. And apparently someone overheard this. And a man came up to her and said, you dropped this. And he handed her a $50 bill. Is that love? Is that financial generosity? But is it also just compassion? Another woman said that she had always and would always remember a woman who gave her tissues when she was crying on a train. She said, I was trying so hard to keep it together. Everybody else kind of looked away, but she handed me these tissues. And she said, we've all been there, crying on the train. It sucks. And later, as this woman got off the train, she said, whatever's wrong, it will get better. That doesn't mean anything right now, of course, but it really will. The woman who was handed the tissues so she could wipe her eyes and blow her nose, she said she was inspired to always carry a little pack of tissues in case she ever saw anybody crying. But was that love? Wasn't it kindness? And the last story, I don't know whether this was from a man or a woman, but this person gets tears in their eyes whenever they think of this experience. And they say, I used to manage an LGBT bookstore. One night, the phone rang. A caller says he thinks he might be gay and is considering self-harm. Now, this was not a crisis center, but as long as this person is talking to this person on the phone, this man on the phone, he'd be safe, at least for them. He wouldn't be hurting himself. So this person talks to this guy and answers all the questions and tries to be encouraging and is probably beginning to sound a little frantic and is definitely ignoring all the customers who are in the store. And suddenly this angel of a woman puts her hand on my shoulder, he says, or she says, and asks for the phone. My turn, she says. And so this 50-something lesbian talks to this stranger on the phone, and a line forms behind her. Every customer in that store knows that call, knows that feeling, and every person took a turn talking to that man that night. The writer of the story says that event comforts me so much, even to this day. So what do you think? Was that compassion? Was that love in action? And the second is like unto it, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. One of the wonderful things about divine science, one of the things that kept me in divine science certainly, is that it never says, you've got to believe this is the truth, and it's true because I said it was true, so believe it. No. What we do is urge people to try certain spiritual ideas and see from their own experience if it works in their life. See if it doesn't make things better. In the spirit of a valuable experiment, I would like to suggest that you take a little while, just a little while, to define love for yourself. Or if it sounds really sensible to you, adopt someone else's definition of love. Now, I've talked about how children define love. Certainly some adults, like Nona Brooks and Linda Kramer, so forth. I've talked about people who were being loving to their neighbors and stories, but I haven't tackled the question of why. Why love? Why bother? It's an effort. But Emmett Fox is the one who answers the why in the most wonderful way. Why we should express love to our fellow human, to ourselves. He says, there is no difficulty that enough love will not conquer, no disease that enough love will not heal, no door that enough love will not open, no gulf that enough love will not bridge, no wall that enough love will not throw down, no sin that enough love will not redeem. It makes no difference how deeply seated may be the trouble, how hopeless the outlook, how muddled the tangle, how great the mistake. A sufficient realization of love will dissolve it all. If only you could love enough, you would be the happiest and the most powerful being in the world. Dr. Fox is saying, and he doesn't realize he's quoting 1 John, but he is saying we have to love in deed and in truth, or through kindness, compassion, not judging, through generosity or self-sacrifice for others, unconditional love. Because doing so will bring a tsunami of blessings, both within and without. Define love for yourself, and then spread it everywhere. Live life lovingly. Let's go within you. And know that we are talking about the most essential nature of God when we talk about love. For God is love. And as 1 John said, He that dwelleth in love dwelleth in God, and God in him. We hope that it lights a fire within us, a glow, a light, that we can shine on everyone we meet, everyone we know, the people we walk past when we're going grocery shopping. To live in love is to live in freedom. To live in love is to bless everyone we touch. To live in love is to bless ourselves most of all. Let it be so. Let it be so now and always. Amen.
The chimes of time ring out the news. Another year is through. Someone slipped and fell. Was that someone you? You may have long for added strength, your courage to be new. Do not be discouraged, for I've got news for you. There is no secret what God can do. What is done for others, He'll do for you. With arms wide open, He'll turn. There is no secret what God can do. There is no night, for in His light you'll never walk alone. Always feel at home wherever you may roam. There is no power can conquer you while God is on your side. Take Him at His promise. Don't ever run and hide. There is no secret what God can do. What is done for others, He'll do for you. With arms wide open, He'll care for you. There is no secret what God can do. There is no secret what God can do. What is done for others, He'll do for you. With arms wide open, He'll care for you. It is no secret what God can do.
Thank you, Mr. Penn. That was lovely. Now's the time on our service for the blessing of the gifts. You will say with me, in your order service. Oh, no. Yeah. And there it is, on the wall. Either way. If you'd rather look up than down. So let us say this together. Today I acknowledge God, omnipresent, as the source of all good, as the source of my good. With this acknowledgement, I accept His will, which is abundance in every aspect of my life. I release all thoughts of lack and limitation, and I am open and receptive to the increased flow of abundance to me right now. I joyfully accept the gifts of life and give freely of the special gift that I am. Through me, God omnipresent blesses and multiplies this gift for all. Thank you, dear God.
While that is going on, pass the prayer basket. I invite you to take one and bless yourself as well as this other person by saying a prayer, knowing the Spirit of God within them throughout this week.
Good morning. Thank you for that wonderful message this morning. We need more love in this world, for sure. Anyhow, today's flowers are sponsored by Mark for Scholar. I think that is who dog. So, yay! So thank you, Mark. Get my notes here. All right, this coming Friday is the IANS meeting at 7 o'clock. You want to speak about that? And the lady is coming.
Absolutely. Joan Fowler is going to be here. It's a very interesting person, and I've just spoken to her over the phone, but she sounds really charming, a really charming lady, who graduated from West Point as an engineer and had a very successful career as an engineer for 20 years, left it, and she was an experiencer. She had a near-death experience, and she is now a healer and teaches healing. And she's going to be here on Friday at 7 o'clock, and I invite you to come and hear what she has to say. I think it's going to be very valuable, and she's going to be speaking on Sunday as well. So try to come. I think you would be interested and enjoy it very much.
And we're looking forward to that. And also on Sunday, we will have a potluck lunch after church for so that everybody get to meet her and whatever. And we had talked about taking her out to dinner on Saturday night, so if anybody's interested in going to dinner, let me know, and then we'll decide where we're going as soon as I find out how many people want to go out to dinner on Saturday night. Let's see, Ann's doing wonderful. She's home, she's doing her rehab, she's walking, she's got great attitude. She gets bored sometimes because she's just home with Bob. But just joking. But Bob's taking really good care of her. But she does like to have phone calls and visits. She did ask that if you come to visit, call because she has PT scheduled. But she does enjoy having company because she's there, like I said, all day by herself. But she's doing great. I did tease her yesterday. I said, I'm coming back at 9:30 to pick you up to bring you to church. So, but she had actually thought about it, but she said just thoughts of getting up and getting dressed and all that effort that it takes right now. So maybe in a couple of weeks we'll see her back at church, but make an effort if you can. Either if you can't go back by and see her, just give her a call or a text message. She would love to hear from you. So, anyhow, lastly, I wanted to say, well, first I want to apologize. The last couple of weeks we've had, I know y'all got text messages after text messages, and then you got calls, and you were supposed to get calls from our system that's supposed to notify you. You know, when you're working with technology, sometimes it doesn't work too well. So I apologize if you got more calls or whatever. Hopefully we've got all the kinks worked out of these two systems that I use to notify you of things going on. So please don't kill me because I know a couple of people got upset because they got messages 2 or 3 times. Well, wasn't a whole lot I could do about it. But anyhow, hopefully we got all the kinks worked out of that. So anyhow, the last thing before we close with the closing prayer, some people have been concerned about holding hands because of the flu and everything. If you do not want to hold hands at the end of service with the prayer, nobody's going to be offended. It's okay. So if you do, that's fine. So whatever you feel like doing is fine. Anybody else have anything, Nancy, your class or anything? Pam has a journaling class every Tuesday, 6:30.
This Thursday, we do not have anything. Usually Ann has her craft class, but because she is at home, we're not doing that this week. So do something special this week. Go invite a friend to dinner or something and enjoy it. So do you have anything else? All right, well, hope to see everybody on Friday night. Maurita's guest speaker here.
Shall we, wait a minute, just sing
That's what we have.
And I can tell you for sure Ann is doing very well. She has whooped me twice at backgammon.
And she's very proud about it.
She's really good, I know. Okay, so we're going to stand and sing joyfully hymn number 84, both verses. Number 84, God will take care of you.
Now, shall we make a circle? And those who would rather not hold hands could just get into the prayer. So, okay. We'll bless everybody's hand. Oh, we're hand in hand, and indeed in this small group, there is love.
Like the song says, God will take care of you.
God will take care of us, indeed. We keep practicing the same love that we have for one another right here. The same kind of trust and respect and knowledge that this is God's child, each and all. And for that we give thanks. We give thanks to God for love, for the love He has for us, and our love for Him and for one another. Amen.
Amen.